Good afternoon, YouTube. Xfile2708 back again with another recent watches video. I've changed the title from weekly watches to recent watches. Not that that makes a huge amount of difference, but the last couple of weeks I've done a Tuesday rather than a Monday because of circumstances, busy doing other things on the Monday. Again, I was busy yesterday, didn't get chance, so Wednesday being today, it's 8 days since my last weekly watches. So from here on in, I'm not going to commit to doing it weekly, but I will do recent watches. So for the last 8 days, I've managed to watch 8 movies. So not too bad going at all. Normally I hover around 5 movies for a week, but yeah, the last week and the last day or two, I've managed to watch 8. So let's have a look. 7 out of the 8 I've got here on physical media that I can show you. The other one I watched on streaming, but I have ordered it on physical media off eBay, and that's due any day now. So it is one that I will have on physical media very shortly. So first one that I watched, guys, was this one, Near Dark. So first time watch for me. Several people in the community have commented previously saying it's a really good vampire film, so was one I was very much looking forward to. Now this is a movie from 1987, directed by Catherine Bigelow. Let's have a look, runtime 94 minutes, and the synopsis is: in one hot, hungry kiss, he gave her everlasting love. She gave him everlasting life. A farm boy reluctantly becomes a member of the undead when a girl he meets turns out to be part of a band of vampires who roam the highways in stolen cars. Now, as I say, this one came out in 1987, which I thought, oh, that's really bizarre for another vampire movie that's talked about in high regards. To be out at the same time as The Lost Boys was. That was 1987 as well. So always been a huge fan of Lost Boys, so I was aware people had said Near Dark was really good, but I was like, well, is it really on a par with Lost Boys or not? For me, probably not quite as good as Lost Boys, but very much I'd say a different kind of vampire movie. It's darker and a bit more grittier. I think it's actually, it's an 18, that one, as opposed to Lost Boys, which I think is a 15 if I recall. Letterboxd rating, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. My review for this one reads: first time watch for me, this one, and although I'd heard good things about it, I was a little cautious, seeing as this came out the same year as The Lost Boys, which I hold in such high regard. However, saying that these are two very different vampire movies, The Lost Boys being almost the family friendlier of the two, whilst this movie is darker, grittier, and a whole lot more graphic. Excellent performance from all concerned, especially Bill Paxton as the leader of the vampire gang, and some awesome music to boot from Tangerine Dream. Overall, an excellent vampire movie that can hold its head up high and easily sit alongside The Lost Boys as one of the better vampire movies. Very happy to have added it into my collection, and one that will most definitely get a rewatch later on down the line. So that was the first watch for the week. Right, after that, we went on to an absolute banger. Now, this is one that I hadn't seen before. And if you saw my shorts that I put up at the weekend, I've gone on a real Westerns kick. And primarily, that is because of this movie that I watched. So, The Revenant from 2015 with Leonardo DiCaprio. again, not normally a huge Leonardo DiCaprio fan, but this movie absolutely blew me away. And like I say, it got me that much into the scenario and the Western setting that, you know, I'll put that short up saying, right, tell me what Westerns I need to start my Western journey on. And I've got a big bag there already. So this movie has got a lot to answer for. It's quite a long movie as well. It runs, let me just have a look, 157 minutes, so nearly 3 hours this one. But yeah, what an absolute amazing performance from Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy, I think it is. The Western setting, you know, the setting in the winter and the snow is absolutely brilliant. And just overall, 3 hours just flew by. So this, I won't say who directed it because it's a name that I cannot pronounce. Why am I even trying? Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu. I don't know. I do apologise for butchering that name, but you get the gist. The synopsis for this one: revenge proves its own executioner. In the 1820s, a frontiersman, Hugh Glass, sets out on a path of vengeance against those who left him for dead after a bear mauling. And let me see. Rating wise, this was one of my favourites of the week. I rated this one 4 out of 5. I always whinge with Letterboxd that you can't rate in quarters. I probably wouldn't, well, I'd possibly go 4.5 out of 5. Certainly a solid 4.25. But yeah, my review for this one, guys. First time watching this one this afternoon, and wow, what a film. This film runs 2 hours 36, which I'd normally have to watch over a couple of days. But for me, I was just so drawn into the movie from the very start, the time just flew by. Leonardo DiCaprio has always been a hit and miss actor for me, with a lot of his movies not really fitting into the genre I would watch. This was potentially one of those genres, with falling into the Western action, adventure, period drama category, but wow, it didn't disappoint. Amazing storyline of survival, struggles, betrayal and revenge. Leonardo DiCaprio certainly goes through it all in this movie, and holy fuck, what an amazing performance. I watched the 4K of this movie, so I showed the Blu-ray, but my Fire Stick Plus service had it on 4K, so I watched it on 4K. And it looked absolutely stunning, so I will look to upgrade that Blu-ray to the 4K when I can. Set in winter, it made me feel freezing cold throughout the 2.5 hours, but honestly, I didn't care. Overall, an amazing movie and well worth 2.5 hours of anyone's time. If you haven't seen it before, then please put that wrong right immediately. And what I will say is it's got as it said in the synopsis, a bear mauling scene in, which is, you know, without spoilers, that's basically how Leonardo DiCaprio picks up his injuries. He's left behind by a group of his so-called comrades, if you like. And yeah, that bear mauling scene is absolutely brutal. It seems to go on for an age, and how on earth he actually manages to survive at all is beyond me. But yeah, absolutely superb performance from Leonardo DiCaprio. Like I say, I rated that one 4 out of 5, and yeah, it's kick-started me going down yet another rabbit hole and hunting out loads and loads of Western movies that I've never seen before. So there we go. That was The Revenant from 2015. After The Revenant, I then watched this one with Sylvester Stallone, So Death Race 2000 from 1975. Sylvester Stallone and David Carradine, isn't it? Yep, David Carradine. In the year 2000, hit and run isn't a felony; it's the national sport. So, if you've not seen the original Death Race 2000, I'm sure quite a few of you would have seen the Loose remake with Jason Statham, just entitled Death Race. Similar, but I much prefer this one. So, Death Race 2000, guys. Directed by Paul Bartel, 1975, and runs just 80 minutes. So the synopsis for this one, where are we? There we go. In the year 2000, hit and run driving is no longer a felony. Felony. It's the national sport. In a boorish future, the government sponsors a popular but bloody cross-country race in which points are scored by mowing down pedestrians. If you've ever played Carmageddon, it loosely reminded me of that. So, cross-country race in which points are scored by mowing down pedestrians. 5 teams, each comprised of a male and female, compete using cars equipped with deadly weapons. Frankenstein, the mysterious returning champion, has become America's hero, but this time he has a passenger from the underground resistance. Now, I rated this one 3.5 out of 5. And my review for this one reads, not sure how on earth they got away with this one, but I guess it was 1975. Certainly not a film they could make today, so big tick in my box. A group of futuristic racers take on a race from coast to coast against other competitors, and with the chance to rack up extra points on the way by killing citizens as they go. 10 points. So here we go. This is the scoring system. 10 points for a woman, 20 for a man, 40 for teenagers and babies. What? And 100 for elderly people. I had to laugh when I saw that bit at the start. Even at one point, we saw 7 elderly people wheeled out from the hospital and placed in the road for what had been nicknamed Euthanasia Day. Absolutely brilliant. I told Lewis about it when it happened. I was chuckling away to myself. So, dark and politically incorrect. Everybody, or a lot of the snowflakes would be up in arms about that today. But the fact that it's in a film with Sylvester Stallone, and it's all part and parcel of it. It was right up my street. Bodies being split in half, swastikas, and a co-pilot called Herman the German. This is a super fun, tongue-in-cheek movie starring the likes of David Carradine and Sylvester Stallone. A movie that doesn't take itself seriously, and one I'll certainly enjoy rewatching again later on down the line. I did have a look to see if I could upgrade this one to Blu-ray. Frustratingly, it was in the Signal One sale at the start of the year for £5. But sod's law, I hadn't rewatched it, and it was a film that I watched probably once, maybe 20 years ago, and I've not seen it since. So I couldn't remember anything about it. Otherwise, I'd have grabbed it for £5 in the Signal One sale. But yeah, absolutely brilliant film, guys. I rated it 3.5 out of 5. Definitely one with a lot of rewatchability for me. So that was the next one. Right, after that, by the power of video editing, I watched, there we go, Clint Eastwood in a Fistful of Dollars. As I said, after watching The Revenant, that kick-started me down a rabbit hole of looking into what westerns were out there, what was recommended by people. I'm a huge Clint Eastwood fan. He's probably one of my favourite actors over the years. I've got several of his movies already, and again, that's another rabbit hole that I'm disappearing down, getting as many of the Clint Eastwood movies as I can as well. So I was well aware already of the Dollars trilogy. So Fistful of Dollars, a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. So I thought, right, let's start into that trilogy, and I watched Fistful of Dollars. So a movie from 1964. And where are we? If it updates, there we go. 99 minutes long. Directed by Sergio Leone. In his own way, he is perhaps the most dangerous man who ever lived. The man with no name enters the Mexican village of San Miguel in the midst of a power struggle amongst the three Rojo brothers and Sheriff John Baxter. When a regiment of Mexican soldiers bearing gold intent to pay for new weapons is waylaid by the Rojo brothers, the stranger inserts himself into the middle of the long simmering battle, selling false information to both sides for his own benefit. Now, again, I absolutely loved this one. It's a Western, which, you know, I'm all over, as I say, at the moment, and it's got Clint Eastwood in, and it's an absolutely fantastic performance from the big man Clint. I rated this one 4 out of 5. Like I say, I have ordered it from Music Magpie. It's due any time now, so it will be one that I've got on the shelf as part of my Clint Eastwood stroke Western collection. And my review for this one reads: after watching The Revenant earlier in the week, I figured it was time to dip my toes in the waters of the Western genre. Having seen the likes of Revenant, Hateful Eight and Django Unchained, I wanted to delve back into the archives a bit further, so figured as a big Clint Eastwood fan I'd start into the Dollars trilogy. And thankfully this one didn't disappoint. Great cinematography, great score and an awesome part from Clint Eastwood. This movie does not disappoint. From the opening 15 minutes, you can tell Clint is going to be the no-nonsense badass, telling the coffin maker in the town to get 3 coffins ready, then returning 5 minutes later saying, "My mistake, make that 4." So, absolutely brilliant. I was howling at that point. Absolutely superb start into my Westerns exploration, and can't wait to delve into more now. So there we go. So yeah, that was my first delve into Westerns properly, you know, the old school Westerns. Absolutely loved it. I've probably got, I don't know, a dozen or so on the side here, which I haven't yet shown. But I will be doing a dedicated pickups video for, and I've got a huge list thanks to everybody that commented on the short that I put up asking for suggestions. So lots more Westerns on the way. So there we go. That's that one. Next up, from such a good film to an absolute stinker. Now, the only positive thing I can say about this movie is the slip was really nice. That's as far as I can go. So, huge fan of the 1987 original Street Trash movie. This is the double pack that comes with that original movie and with the 2024 remake. So, you know, I was hoping this would be one that I go into with rose-tinted spectacles. You know, people that weren't a big fan of the original probably wouldn't like the remake, but I was thinking, yeah, I love the original, so, you know, I'll probably enjoy the remake, whether it's particularly good or not. But it was an absolute stinker. So 2024's Street Trash, and let's have a look. Right, this one runs 85 minutes. Directed by Ryan Kruger. A group of homeless misfits must fight for survival when they discover a plot to exterminate every homeless man in the city. A remake of the 1987 cult classic. And I agree, the 87 one is a cult classic. And my review for this one, I had loose hopes of this one at least being half decent, with me being a big fan of the original. Sadly though, this remake just didn't deliver. A plotline that basically sees the homeless versus the government. However, the characters and acting throughout this movie is terrible, and even the gross out practical effects just don't hit the spot. Overall, very disappointed with this remake. One time watch for me, and I'll now stick to the classic original movie from now on. And I rated that one 2 out of 5. Sleeping on it, I could probably even drop that down to a 1.5 out of 5. It was that bad. Stay clear of it, guys. Honestly, like I say, even if you're a big fan of the original, you'll hate the remake, I'm pretty sure. So that was 2024's Street Trash. Next up, as I mentioned, big into Clint Eastwood, a movie that some people were saying, wow, can't believe you've not seen that one before, Marcus, but there's only so many hours in the day, and I hadn't seen this one before. So, $1 Million Baby, with, Clint Eastwood and Hilary Swank and Morgan Freeman. So, that's that one there. So, this is a movie from 2004. Directed as well by Clint Eastwood. Beyond his silence there is a past, beyond her dreams there is a feeling, beyond hope there is a memory, beyond their journey there is a love. Runs for 132 minutes, so just over 2 hours. Despondent over a painful estrangement from his daughter, trainer Frankie Dunn isn't prepared for boxer Maggie Fitzgerald to enter his life, but Maggie's determined to go professional and to convince Frankie Dunn and his cohort to help her. Right, and my review for this one. Again, another movie I rated 4 out of 5. Again, if I could tickle it up a little bit to 4.25, then I would do. First time watching this one tonight, and another superb Clint Eastwood movie ticked off the list. Honestly, I've not seen a bad movie of Clint Eastwood's ever. Clint plays the part of boxing coach Frankie. Also joining him is Morgan Freeman, plays the character Eddie, and Hilary Swank, who plays the character Maggie. Clint plays the grumpy old coach superbly, who Hilary looks up to and tries to convince Coach that taking on and training a female boxer is the right thing to do. A real heartwarming, beating the odds boxing drama that any fan of the main man Clint Eastwood will be sure to love. The direction and ending completely caught me off guard, which again just goes to show what a clever and well-written film this was. Now, I'm not going to spoil it. Obviously, this was my first time watch, so there's bound to be people out there that haven't seen this movie before. But let me say, if you're expecting, a movie where she tries to convince the coach, like rags to riches, going through training, starting her career, going into her first professional fight, and then becoming, the undisputed champion, and it being a happily ever after story, you don't get that ending. I am not going to spoil it, but as I said, the ending completely caught me off guard. I had a right lump in my throat at the end. I'm not an emotional person at all, but yeah, it really was heart-wrenching at the end, let me say. But yeah, if you haven't seen it and you're a big fan of Clint Eastwood in general, then please do yourself a favour and check it out. Absolutely superb movie. So we've got 2 more to come. Apologies, this one's still got the CX sticker on, but it is one I wanted to show because I have got it on physical media. I just haven't shown it on a pickups video yet. I picked it up last weekend when I was out with Lewis, and it is Dev Patel's Monkey Man, which was last year, 2024 movie. So that's that one. Right, let me read you the synopsis. So this one runs 121 minutes, so again, just over 2 hours. Directed by Dev Patel. One small ember can burn down everything. Kid is an anonymous young man who ekes out a meagre living in an underground fight club where night after night, wearing a gorilla mask, he is beaten bloody by more popular fighters for cash. After years of suppressed rage, Kid discovers a way to infiltrate the enclave of the city's sinister elite. As his childhood trauma boils over, his mysteriously scarred hands unleash an explosive campaign of retribution to settle the score with the men who took everything from him. So that was the synopsis. And again, another movie I rated 4 out of 5. So I think it's been, considering I watched 8 movies, I think it was only Street Trash that literally lived up to its name. It was absolute garbage. All of the rest of them were really good watches, and ones that I'd happily recommend to people. So my review for this one. Really enjoyed this one, as others have said, very much an Indian version of John Wick, and for me very much on a par with the John Wick franchise. Excellent fight sequences, car chases, and superb cinematography and music throughout. And again, you know, Indian music, obviously not my bag at all, but it's done absolutely superbly in this movie. And when you've got all of the action sequences, the fight scenes, the car chases, and you've got the music going on in the background, it just works so well, and it really absorbs you into the movie. At just over 2 hours, I thought initially I'd struggle with this one, but honestly the time flew by. Whilst this movie takes similarities from John Wick, the setting of India, the performances and the music really do put this into a well-deserved film in its own right. I really do hope we see a sequel to this movie later on down the line. So, like I say, if you're a fan of the John Wick movies, do yourself a favour. Again, check this one out. You won't be disappointed. I absolutely loved it. And as I said, hopefully we'll see a sequel at some point later on down the line. Although I'm not too sure story-wise with what his goal was throughout the movie, and potentially having achieved it at the end, where they'd take it direction-wise with another story. But we shall see. They certainly managed it with the John Wick film, so no reason why Monkey Man couldn't take, have a sequel itself as well. So we shall see. And then to finish the week, guys, this was one that I think a couple of people on the live stream that I was on a few weeks ago on Ollie's channel, a couple of people recommended this one when they were talking about biopics. Lewis then watched this one last week as well, and he was talking to me about it, and I was like, right, I need to see if I can get that one watched. So I went into the local CEX. Again, sneak preview, because I haven't shown it on the pickups video as yet, but I managed to pick up Eddie the Eagle. I think this is a 2015 movie. So, yeah, Eddie the Eagle. Start again. Eddie the Eagle movie with Taron Egerton, I think his name is. Directed by Dexter Fletcher. Runs 106 minutes. Win or lose, always aim high. The feel-good story of Michael Eddie Edwards, an unlikely but courageous British ski jumper who never stopped believing in himself, even as an entire nation was counting him out. With the help of a rebellious and charismatic coach, Eddie takes on the establishment and wins the hearts of sport fans around the world by making an improbable and historic showing at the 1988 Calgary Winter Olympics. I rated this one 3.5 out of 5. And my review for this one, absolutely love this one from start to finish. Brilliant parts played by both Taron Egerton from the Kingsman movies and Hugh Jackman. So it was really weird to see Hugh Jackman alongside Taron Egerton, and I mean, it was an absolutely brilliant chemistry between the two people. Hugh Jackman plays the part of like a drunken ex-skier, and he, after a lot of persuasion, takes Eddie the Eagle under his wing, so to speak, and starts to train him for the ski jump. But yeah, absolutely brilliant chemistry between those two guys. You probably wouldn't normally put them together at all, but it worked really well. Based on the true story of Eddie the Eagle Edwards growing up and wanting to become an Olympic ski jumper for Great Britain. I grew up through the era of Eddie the Eagle, so this was a great insight as to how it all came about and what happened. Real feel-good movie which constantly has you smiling and laughing throughout and gives you a constant warm glow. Hugh Jackman trying to describe the movement and finesse of a ski jump in the same act of making out with Bo Derek had me in stitches. If you've seen it, you'll know, guys. Absolutely funny as fuck. Absolutely brilliant. So many good moments in this movie. One I'd happily recommend to all, and definitely one I'll be watching again. And again, if I could rate in quarters, this is close to a 4, so I'd put it as a 3.75 out of 5. So there we go, guys. That's my my watches for the previous 8 days. Like I say, I'm not going to try to stick to a day now for the watches. It'll just be as and when during each week or every other week. I'll see how it pans out with what I'm doing and how many movies that I managed to get watched. So if you've seen any of those movies, guys, please let me know if you enjoyed them, or if even bizarrely, if you liked the Street Trash remake. I'll be interested to know why. But yeah, as always, guys, please remember to like, comment and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'll be back later on in the week with another video. Bye for now, guys.